commends well-spirited Nigerians and organizations on their support to combat the coronavirus pandemic.
We are trying to reconfigure certain laboratories we already have to be able to do this test for coronavirus.
More test laboratories on the way as federal government directs the existing 5 to run round the clock to control the spread of the coronavirus pandemic.
Even if there is any outbreak, the prevention is better than cure.
Plus, correspondent examines measures by border communities to check the spread of coronavirus. A very warm welcome to you on Network News tonight. I am Jumwe Yusuf. I'm not on this flight alone. I have Dotun Oguyemi on board in Lagos and Agatha Eware Ojo in Benin. Thanks so much for joining us. Five new cases of COVID-19 has been reported in Nigeria, 3 in the FCT, 2 in Oyo State. As at 8 o'clock this evening, 70 cases have been confirmed in Nigeria. 3 have been discharged and 1 death recorded. President Muhammadu Buhari has commended Nigerians and organizations who have contributed in containing coronavirus pandemic in the country. Doyin Dia has the details.
President Muhammadu Buhari commended members of the Nigerian private sector coalition against COVID-19. They are Aliko Dangote, Abdusamad Rabiu of Board Group, Femi Otedola. Others are Tony Elumelu, Albert Wigwe, Shegun Agbaje, Jim Ovia, UBA Bank, Access Bank, GT and Zenith Banks respectively. The president also thanked every helping hand in the vanguard of encouraging others in the private sector to do same, while extolling individuals, groups and organizations in their efforts at curtailing the spread of the disease. The president expressed optimism that the country will overcome challenges brought by the pandemic and chart new course in nationalism and brotherhood. In Abuja, Doyin Dia, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation (NNPC) has made an intervention of $30 million, approximately 11 billion naira, to help combat the coronavirus pandemic and its attendant impact on the Nigerian economy. Group Managing Director Mele Kyari said the intervention done in collaboration with its partners in the oil and gas industry was aligned with the federal government's ongoing efforts to curb COVID-19 spread in the country. Lydia Sampson has more.
Mele Kyari, the NNPC boss, led management of the corporation to the University of Abuja Teaching Hospital on an intervention described by health experts as unprecedented.
God sent, if that summarizes what they have done. We've received intervention, but not as huge or as large as this.
The intervention aimed at supporting the country's healthcare delivery system will cover 3 major areas, which are provision of medical consumables, deployment of logistics and inpatient support system, and the delivery of medical infrastructure. Considering the current global reality, the GMD Kyari said the 3 thematic support initiatives amount to a total of $30 million, that is 11 billion naira, and will be delivered in phases starting immediately.
It is our duty and responsibility to be of service to this country and the citizens. So we are not helping you, we are doing our job, and we are very proud to do this because you have trusted us with the responsibility of managing this company. And for us, it's an ultimate thing that we have to do. This is the beginning. We are getting every stakeholder in the industry to come forward and support these actions of the federal government to make sure that the health and safety of our citizens are safeguarded.
He promised the deployment of ventilators, beds and temporary intensive care facilities across the geopolitical zones of the Federation. These are the industry players that partnered the NNPC in the intervention.
The medical experts here today are unanimous that this intervention from the NNPC will go a long way in helping to tackle the COVID-19 pandemic that is crippling economies all over the world. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
And And former President Chief Olusegun Obasanjo has donated his former residence at the presidential hilltop, Abeokuta, Ogun State, to be used as isolation center for victims of the dreaded coronavirus pandemic. Obasanjo said the 32-room facility has been handed over to the Ogun State government for immediate takeover. The Special Assistant Media Kainde Akinyemi, who confirmed the development, said that the former president was concerned about the pandemic, hence the donation. He therefore called on well-meaning Nigerians to assist governments in this situation. The facility, located off the Presidential Boulevard, Okesari, Abeokuta, has each of the 32 rooms and suite with a standby generator. Meanwhile, to match words with action, Boa Group has redeemed its pledge of 1 billion naira to tackle COVID-19 in Nigeria by transferring funds to the Central Bank of Nigeria. Abdullahi Musa Suleja has the details.
In addition to the donation, the company also announced another donation of 300 million naira to Sokoto, Edo, and Ogun states to assist in galvanizing a coordinated response and educate preparedness in the fight against COVID-19 pandemic in the states. The donations to Sokoto and Edo states were on behalf of its cement subsidiary, Boa Cement, which has its major operations in those states, while Ogun was also selected as a beneficiary due to its proximity to Lagos, which had been the epicenter of the virus in Nigeria. The development comes exactly a day after the chairman of the group, Abdul Samad Rabiu, announced the cash donation to 9 states, including medical and testing kits, as well as face masks and other protective items. Apart from Sokoto, Edo, and Ogun states that have received intervention in the first instance, Boa is monitoring the situation closely and looking at other states that may need additional help. Boa said it will partner with the NCDC in the areas where it needs support to win the fight against COVID-19. Abdullahi Musa Suleja, NTA News.
As a part of effort updating Nigerians on the COVID-19 in Nigeria, the federal government says more test laboratories are on the way and has directed that the existing 5 be running round the clock as part of measures to control the spread of the coronavirus pandemic. The Minister of Health, Dr. Osagi Ehenere, made the announcement at a press briefing to bring Nigerians up to speed on ongoing response to the COVID-19 outbreak in Nigeria. Olushe Adeagbo has details.
With Lagos State the epicenter of the pandemic in Nigeria, the Minister of Health revealed that the federal government has donated 10 billion naira to the state and another 5 billion naira to the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, NCDC, to improve response.
We are trying to reconfigure certain laboratories we already have to be able to do this test for coronavirus. We have also ordered yesterday, which the permanent secretary has sent out information that all laboratories now the ones working now, the 5 we have now, should be working around the clock in shift. We are doing that in order to increase the speed, or rather the number of cases that can be tested in a day.
Dr. Ehenere says the federal government is also taking seriously the directive on social distance and intensifying measures on contact tracing to finding cases.
What we are doing here at the federal level is that it's become clear that the coronavirus infection manifests itself in several ways. So therefore, preparing only ICUs is not enough. We must prepare hospital wings for the mild and moderate cases who need to be isolated. Some of them need to be treated, others need only to be observed. So therefore, the advisory to all states is to also prepare isolation centers of different levels.
On if there are palliatives for Nigerians with the stay-at-home order, the minister speaks.
We are working very well with NEMA, National Emergency Management Agency, and they are looking at being able to support communities with the needs, necessary needs, essentials, and to do the needful for which they are trained and equipped.
While commending efforts and contributions of local and foreign donors towards the fight against the deadly disease, Dr. Ehenere assures that the health authorities are working hard to scale up testing capacity and bringing in more people for clinical management. In Abuja, Oluseye Adeagbo, NTA News.
The Federal Capital Territory Administration has introduced new measures to contain the spread of COVID-19 in the territory, with 5 enforcement teams constituted to ensure compliance. This followed a meeting with security agencies and top management staff of the administration to review measures earlier announced, like the restriction of movement, closure of recreation and worship centers. Shuaibu Onoze Yakubu reports.
Among the measures taken by the FCT administration to contain the spread of COVID-19 is that all eateries are to withdraw eating arrangement in their premises and make use of takeaway parks. Business activities in the FCT must now be between 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. daily. FCT Minister Muhammad Musa Bello says to enforce compliance to all the directives, 5 monitoring teams have been constituted. They are to enforce compliance in parks, markets, schools, clubs, buses and taxis, as well as worship centers, which should be replicated in the 6 area councils of the territory.
Very important for monitoring teams to be emphasized, so that those that refuse to comply will be enforced to comply, because we will not allow a very few to put the lives of all of us in the FCT in jeopardy.
The minister, however, says to ensure effective coordination of all activities on the containment of the virus, the administration has established situation room to be domiciled at the FCT call center. Meanwhile, mobile numbers have been provided to feed the monitoring teams with the necessary information to address issues as they arise.
These numbers should be used by residents of the FCT in conveying any information that would be helpful to the monitoring teams to ensure compliance with all the regulations indicated and announced during the last 1 week.
However, members are advised to use the National Emergency Toll-Free number 112. Shuaibu Onoze Yakubu, NTA News.
Still in line to curb the spread of COVID-19, Muslims in Abuja obeyed the stay at home to pray Jumat advice as part of measures to contain COVID-19. Abdullah Ajia has a situation report from the National Mosque, Abuja.
It's a Friday, a beautiful and holy day among days in Islamic religion. And Allah in His infinite mercy in Quran 62 verse 9 and 10 enjoins Muslims to heed to the Jumat prayer. But today, Jumat mosques across the world, including the National Mosque here in Abuja, are under lock and key as a safety measure to curb the spread of COVID-19 epidemic.
فَإِنَّا لِلَّهِ وَإِنَّا إِلَيْهِ رَاجِعُونَ. As far as I know, the life of this mosque, it has never happened this way.
Dr. Muhammad Kabir Adam is one of the imams of this house of Allah. He puts in perspective the situation.
When there is a situation like this, we have to abide by the situation. A sick person was given permission to pray on his bed. During the time of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he used to take certain steps as to subvert the life of Muslims. Then he said, Sallu fi rihalikum. Pray inside your houses.
The cleric reminded that while at home, Muslims should seek the mercy and pleasure of Allah through repentance and assisting one another. Ordinarily, this mosque vicinity used to be a beehive of worshippers and business activities every Friday. It's obvious today this place is a shadow of itself as a result of the stay at home to observe the Jumat prayer. Abdullah Ajia, NTA News.
To minimize the spread of COVID-19, the federal government urges all worship centers to suspend all forms of gathering. In this package, Gufan Shaji brings up situation report on the level of compliance by the Muslim faithful in some states.
In Mina, the Niger state capital, Suleiman Kodogi says Muslim faithful adhere to the directive.
As Muslims or Islam is concerned, the issue of life is a very, very important issue. In fact, Among the basic things that Islam protects, the Maqasid Sharia, one of it is Hifzun Nafs, protecting life.
In Katsina, Shehu Adams reports that the few Muslims that went for prayers were turned back by security agents.
Any gathering that go beyond 20 persons, the place is all suspended.
However, the situation was different in Oka, where Nwabofo Nwoye says the congregation did not adhere to the directive but observed Jumat prayers.
They come here, they tell us if about 3-4 times 3 days, we wash hand, use omo, use everything to wash hand. 3 days, 4 days, wash it one by. Don't allow to bless your brother. Don't shake hand for them to avoid the virus.
You're watching the news at 9 on NTA. Let's take our first break. More reports when we return. Do stay with us.
Welcome to our wonderful world of data with these incredible new offers from your #1 4G network nationwide. Glow Unlimited.
As from Friday, 27th March by 12 midnight, all routes linking to Kano State will be closed to avoid interstate movement. This is in compliance with the proactive measures taken by Kano State government under Dr. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje against COVID-19. This involves all passengers coming to the state through the domestic wing of Malam Aminu Kano International Airport that they will not be allowed to enter into the ancient city of Kano, as security agencies like the Nigerian Police Force, along with the Kano State Road Transport Authority and the Hisba Agency, will see to the full enforcement of this. People are strongly urged to work with the advice of health workers. Hand washing with soap and running water, as well as the use of hand sanitizer, must be observed, and people should continue to pray hard for the state, the country, and entire humanity. All workers who were asked to stay off offices should observe stay-at-home directive by the government. Other members of the public should avoid going to the market unless if it is absolutely necessary, as congestion must be avoided in all other public places. Announcer Abba Anwar, Chief Press Secretary to the Governor of Kano State.
You can choose to do this with your stew, but not your data. Get more out of life with the new Airtel data plans. Dial *141# today. Data is life.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
With the current confirmed case of coronavirus disease in our country, it's important that we spread facts and not rumors. According to the NCDC, wash your hands regularly with soap under running water and use hand sanitizers frequently. Cover your mouth and nose properly with tissue paper when sneezing or coughing, and immediately dispose of the tissue in a covered waste bin. If a disposable tissue is not available, cough into your elbow. Avoid close contact with anyone showing symptoms of respiratory illness such as coughing and sneezing. Verify any information on coronavirus disease from the NCDC. Remember, your health is in your hands.
This message is brought to you by Dettol Clean Niger in partnership with the Nigerian Center for Disease Control and the Lagos State Office of SDGs and Investment.
Shola, come and help me. You need to learn.
but I'm more interested in drawing.
How are you going to be part of the business if you don't learn?
You just don't understand.
Morning. Anyone for some Lipton?
The rich taste of Lipton awakens body and mind.
Let me have a look at your drawings.
Son, these designs are amazing. Lipton Yellow Label Tea. Awaken to what really matters. The Federal Roads Maintenance Agency wishes to inform all interested bidders and the general public that due to the federal government policy in curbing the spread of COVID-19, the earlier invitation for tender category B, C, and D as published in the Federal Tenders Journal and other newspapers and slated to hold on 24th March 2020 has been postponed till further notice. We will continue to monitor developments with a view to fixing a new date for the program. We regret the inconveniences this might cause. Management. Announcer.
Wake up, wake up. Nothing can hold us down.
Breakfast your day, every day.
Nestle, good food, good life.
How hot is she?
Maybe a 7. How hot is he?
8.5.
Whoa, how hot is she?
Very hot.
Pick me, just pick me, baby. Come pick me, girl. Man, I'm all ready for you.
So tasty.
He's so lucky.
Stop being jealous, man.
Mini-Me. Taste the fun.
The coronavirus, also known as COVID-19, is spreading at an alarming rate all over the globe, including Nigeria. With the number of infected persons in Nigeria increasing daily, prevention is better than cure. Coronavirus has no cure. The virus spreads from one person who affects 2 persons, and by the time the affected person is isolated, the 2 persons have affected 4, and it keeps spreading. You must take preventive measures to save yourself and that of the people around you. Always wash your hands with soap and water. Put distance between yourself and others. Whenever you cough or sneeze, cover your mouth. Clean and disinfect surfaces. Stay at home if you're sick and contact the proper authorities. Together, we can cut down the spread of the coronavirus. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, Africa's largest TV network.
Welcome back. The coronavirus pandemic, as it ravages the world, there's hope that the world will soon come out of it. Chief Executive Officer, Catholic Caritas Foundation of Nigeria, Reverend Father Uchechukwu Obiadeochina, said this in a chat with newsmen in Abuja on the position of the Catholic Church in supporting government in its effort to protect Nigerians from COVID-19. Adebola Brooks and Sunday reports.
Nigeria is one of the countries of the world battling with the coronavirus. Reverend Father Uchechukwu Obiadeochina, who applauded government's efforts, said it's time for the church and all Nigerians to rise and support the nation's leadership, which is in line with the mission of the foundation.
Nigeria is our home. We have a responsibility to make Nigeria a livable place and a lovely place. And so whatever is within our powers, we would be readily available to do that.
On the restriction of movements and other measures taken by states, Father Obiadeochina said it is a right step in a right direction.
The coffee in Kaduna and in other parts of Nigeria is the way to go. Even though there could be some other side effects, but it is important for people to know that the matter is terribly serious.
Catholic Caritas Foundation is an agency of Bishops' Conference of Nigeria, established for intervention in humanitarian and developmental issues. Adebola Brooks Sunday, NTA News.
In the meantime, the directive by various state governments for their citizens to observe social distancing as part of measures to limit the spread of coronavirus pandemic has so far witnessed an appreciable level of compliance. Our correspondents who monitored events across the country report that while Nigerians believe it is a necessary sacrifice to pay for public safety, some sections of the public still refuse to comply with the order on restriction of movement. Olabode Arewa reports.
Hussein Issa reports that while residents of Makurdi, the Benue State capital, engage in last-minute shopping, preparatory to the commencement of the order,
on the restriction of commercial activities. Passengers observed that commercial drivers did not observe necessary precautionary measures as they overloaded their vehicles. The situation was similar in Sokoto State.
As I'm sitting here, if I tell you that I'm comfortable, I'm not.
Did not give us any mask nor sanitizer, but personally I have my own sanitizer with me.
The order directed the closure of Nigeria's land borders and other proactive measures in taming the COVID-19 are also taking effect in Kebbi, Gombe, Anambra, Yobe, Nasarawa, and Zamfara states.
One would have expected that we do it earlier than this, but it is not too late as they have done it, and it is a good idea and welcome idea.
The level of compliance in this state has been near 100%. Yes, in the morning, the compliance level was at about 70%, but by now, we are already getting close to 100%. And this is just the first day of the enforcement.
Providers of essential services, such as pharmacies and traders in foodstuff, were largely exempted from the closure of businesses. Olabo Derewa, NTA News.
As the world continues to find ways to curb COVID-19, British Prime Minister Boris Johnson tested positive for the coronavirus as United States infection case surpassed China, making it the nation with the most COVID-19 cases in the world. Joyce Omechu reports that over 500,000 people are living with COVID-19 globally.
The pandemic currently spans 199 countries and every inhabited continent. The number of confirmed COVID-19 cases around the world has crossed 550,000. The scourge has claimed the lives of over 25,000 people, while nearly 130,000 is said to have recovered from this disease. In Africa, with 46 countries affected, over 3,000 cases have been recorded, with 83,000 deaths and 254 recoveries confirmed. South Africa still stands as the country with the most cases of coronavirus in the continent. The country has reported its first 2 deaths on the first day of the 3-week lockdown. Its confirmed cases now nears 1,000. Let's take a look at some latest updates from other parts of the globe. The United States now leads the world in confirmed coronavirus cases with more than 86,000. Reports say New York is the epicenter of the outbreak, and experts warn the worst is yet to come. The latest figures collated by Johns Hopkins University shows that U.S. has overtaken China and Italy. Italy records the highest death toll globally. Meanwhile, UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson has tested positive for coronavirus. A spokesman says his symptoms are mild and he will continue to lead the government's response to the virus while he self-isolates. And to Asia, China's National Health Commission on Friday reported 55 new COVID-19 cases, including 54, it says, are imported infections in recent arrivals from overseas. The country thereby announced a temporary ban on all foreign visitors, even if they have visas or residence permits. In Wuhan, residents who had tested positive earlier and then recovered from this disease are testing positive for the virus a second time. This is based on data from several quarantine facilities in the city. And that's today's global update on COVID-19. Stay tuned for more as events unfold. I am Joyce Umetu.
And as events continue to unfold, Chinese community in Nigeria has expressed confidence with the ability of the federal government in containing coronavirus. Chinese ambassador to Nigeria, Xi Jinping, stated this while presenting items to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs as support in the prevention of coronavirus spread. China assured to work closely with Nigeria to ensure that the cases are brought under control.
You see, the global situation is still evolving. And China is watching the situation very closely. And for China and Nigeria cooperation, I think our two governments have keep regular communications, and we're exploring all ways of cooperation.
Nigeria, on its part, also has come to the aid of many countries in their time of need, and will continue to do that regardless, without any string attached.
Nigeria and the People's Republic of China have strong economic ties for a long time. The African Development Bank has launched a record-breaking $3 billion social bond to support the fight against coronavirus pandemic. Benny Adams brings us details.
Tagged Fight COVID-19. The bond, described as the largest social bond in the history of international capital market, is to help alleviate the economic and social impact the COVID-19 pandemic will have on livelihoods and Africa's economies. With a 3-year maturity, the bond garnered interest from central banks and official institutions, contributing 53%, bank treasuries 27%, and asset managers 20%, including socially responsible investors, with bids exceeding $4.6 billion. The final bond distribution statistics stands at Europe having 37%, Americas 36%, Asia 17%, Africa 8%, and the Middle East 1%, with interest rates of 0.75%. President of the African Development Bank, Dr. Akinwumi Adesina, said the $3 billion COVID-19 bond issuance is the first part of the bank's comprehensive response that will be announced soon. In a related development, the federal government of Nigeria is already responding to the COVID-19 challenge by introducing interest rate cuts on all applicable CBN intervention facilities from 9 to 5%, 20 naira cuts from the price of PMS, and the 1-year moratorium on loan servicing. Government is also creating a 50 billion naira targeted credit facility through the National Microfinance Bank for households and SMEs affected by COVID-19. Other measures include review of the medium-term expenditure framework and the 2020 budget with a new oil price benchmark of $30 per barrel to contain many cost-saving measures and stimulus packages.
Commercial vehicles as well as motorcycle operators in Akure, Ondo State are complying with directives on social distancing put in place to check the spread of coronavirus in the state. Abiola Ario reports that the state government has commenced enforcement of the shutdown of markets in the state capital.
This is one of the major streets of Akure, the Ondo State capital. Traffic is very light as not many vehicles are on the road. Human traffic too is equally very low as many people kept indoor. Many shops in the metropolis are under lock and key except for sellers of food items and medicines. The transport sector seems to be most hit by the low turnout of people. This is the Ondo garage in the heart of Akure. Commercial vehicles are available but passengers are few. Operators of the various parks say they are observing the government regulations on prevention of person-to-person infection of coronavirus.
Before, we are carrying 2 in the front, 3 at the back. But now, it's 1 in the front, 2 in the back.
Since the instruction given to us by our state government that we should not carry more than one passenger, we try to comply with it.
It was 80 naira.
And you now carry
100 naira.
The state government's task force has commenced compliance on market closure directive by the state government.
The government is not against anybody, it's not against any religion, but we insist that we have to maintain this social distancing.
Awareness among the people is still very low as many still question the need for restrictions of movement. In Akure, Abiola Rio, NTA News.
And people living in border communities in Sokoto State are taking preventive measures to check the spread of COVID-19. Abdurrahman Usman Jibrila, who visited some of the communities at Ilela, a border town with Niger Republic, has the report.
Religious and community leaders in Ilela local government area have strengthened and developed effective programs in places of worship and their communities on infectious diseases and how to control them. Some of the measures taken are community health engagement with neighboring villages in Niger Republic on emerging diseases.
Muna da mutane akan su wanke ko tole ka shiga ka wanke hannuwanka kuma sannan
we sensitize people to wash their hands and avoid unnecessary contact with strangers.
Even if there is no any outbreak, because it's the first step, as it is said, prevention is better than cure.
Whatever advice given by medical doctors, we call on people to take it seriously. They should maintain cleanliness to ensure proper hygiene.
Residents of Ilela Amarawa said they are aware of the COVID-19 and are conversant with all the preventive measures as prescribed by medical experts. Head of Education and Sensitization in Ilela local government area of Sokoto State said they are working around the clock to sensitize rural communities on hand washing and other measures to ensure personal hygiene. With the media engagement on sensitizing people on the threat of COVID-19 in Nigeria, border communities in Sokoto State have heed to the call and have taken preventive measures against the COVID-19 virus to safeguard themselves and their environment. In Sokoto, Abraham Usman Jibrila, NTA News.
Back here in Abuja, the Defense Headquarters has debunked the rumor making the rounds about a pending military lockdown of the entire country due to coronavirus pandemic. The Coordinator of Defense Media Operations, Major General John Enenche, disclosed this at a press conference in Abuja. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa has the details.
That actually there was a misinformation like that, out of misinterpretation of a document that was, stolen, that was not properly interpreted, that the military was going to enforce lockdown. No, there's nothing like that.
The military, a multi-sectoral agency, has silently but progressively played active role in the ongoing measures to counter the spread of COVID-19. Apart from upscaling the number of its medical facilities for isolation and treatment of confirmed cases, the Defense Headquarters has also developed a twofold approach to support the fight against the scourge.
The medical approach is the deployment of military personnel in aid of all ministries, departments, and agencies of the federal government. We have 17 medical facilities spread across the country, which have been designated for isolation and treatment of confirmed cases of the COVID-19. We have also concluded plans to recall our retired medical personnel.
Under its non-kinetic drive, the armed forces assured Nigerians of its commitment to human security efforts of the federal government. Ismail Musa, NTA News.
You're watching the news at 9 on NTA. Let's join Dotun in our Lagos studio for more reports. Hello, Dotun. I hope you're keeping safe.
Well, thank you, Jumai. Of course, I'm doing that, and of course, Lagos residents are also taking such precautionary measures. Now, Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has signed the Emergency Coronavirus Pandemic Bill 2020 into law. The move is to combat and stop the spread of the virus in the state. The governor also reveals that a curfew may be imposed on residents if the cases increase, even as he confirms that some patients who previously tested positive may be discharged if their subsequent tests turn out negative.
As I've always stated, and I want to also reiterate again in very strong terms, that let us refrain from gathering or congregating in any kind at this time. We have put in place palliative measures that will cushion the effect of the restriction. We would expect maximum compliance from you. That is the least, at least, we will expect from.
That was the governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, giving updates on the coronavirus pandemic. As the world continues to battle the COVID-19 pandemic, social distancing comes handy. Annie Daniels visited some bus stops in Lagos metropolis and interacted with some commercial bus operators on their compliance. Here's her findings.
It's quest to discourage the spread of COVID-19 in the state. Because the government advised that commercial bus drivers and their conductors should wear face masks, hand gloves, and have sanitizers in their buses. Not just for them, but for the passengers.
I'm not aware, madam.
You're not aware of that?
Yes, ma'am.
Me, I'm a conductor. I haven't seen anybody contacted with it before in Nigeria and in Lagos here.
The one I've been wearing since yesterday by night is to abstain. So I'm looking for another one.
That was the case at virtually all bus stops visited. Commercial bus drivers and their conductors were all about their businesses without any of the personal protective equipment. Although the directive by the state government discourages transport operators against overloading their vehicles, urges passengers to fully observe spacing. Social distancing, do you know about it?
I don't know. I don't know about that one. No.
But now, why this man coming down now is because they want to carry 4 passengers and collect 150 for each person.
The onus is on the driver to actually say, okay, one person should sit here. But since he didn't say that, I think I wouldn't have to impose that on him.
I think Lagos has close to 22 million people. So the state can only control the state-owned buses by saying, okay, in a row we are going to take only 2 people.
With issues like these, respondents advise that concerned authorities should go the extra mile in bringing to the consciousness of Nigerians not just the presence of coronavirus in the country, but its effects on the people. In Lagos, Annie Daniels, NTA News.
Let's take a break now. Network News continues shortly in Abuja.
Your number 1 4G network nationwide. The very best from Glow. Glow Unlimited.
Shola, come and help me. You need to learn. But I'm more interested in drawing. How are you going to be part of the business if you don't learn? You just don't understand.
Morning. Anyone for some Lipton?
The rich taste of Lipton awakens body and mind. Let me have a look at your drawings. Son, these designs are amazing. Lipton Yellow Label Tea. Awaken to what really matters.
In Nigeria, there is one sound we need to silence. So let's silence toothache before it starts with Oral-B All-Round Protection. Its advanced technology helps prevent both tooth holes and gum problems that can lead to tooth loss. It strengthens your teeth, giving them all-round protection. Because the only sound we really want to hear is that of our future. For healthier, stronger teeth in 1 week.
Ladies and gentlemen,
get ready, dog.
Get ready. Ready, set, jump to the rhythm as hard as you can go. Steady, let it rock, turn it up, we're giving a show.
From Chivita, the home of your trusted juice and refreshment brand in Nigeria, comes another first. Introducing the new cool Chivita in can. Enjoy the same great taste.
Helen!
Hey, where's your mom?
Today is her toilet day.
What?
Helen!
Toilet day?
Tomorrow you're hosting a party and it's a matter of my reputation.
Even if you spend your entire day cleaning with all this, it still won't be party ready.
Impossible!
Challenge? You take a half-ex 10x. Even if you use this solution 10 times, it won't give you the same cleaning like Harpic. Its new thicker formulation sticks to the bowl better, removes old stains, and gives you a sparkling clean toilet. Wow! New Harpic 10X gives me the freedom from toilet day. New Harpic 10X for 10 times better cleaning.
Banter better with Coca-Cola and stand a chance to win an all-expense-paid trip to the UK to watch a live Premier League game or your share of 400 million naira in instant cash prizes. Simply buy a bottle of Coke or Coke Zero. Look under the cap for your unique code and dial *4255*55* your unique code hash to stand a chance to win. The more Coke you buy, the better your chances of winning. See pack labels and posters for more details. Promo starts March 1st and ends May 31st.
Nigerians, coronavirus is dangerous. It can kill. When you see this sign, high fever, cough, shortness of breath, drowsiness, pneumonia, don't panic, don't hide, don't embark in self-medication. Promptly visit the nearest medical facility. Report all cases to the nearest hospital. Prevention is key. Avoid contact with infected persons. Avoid crowded areas as much as possible. Wash your hands regularly. Use hand sanitizers. Your life is precious. Stay alive. Live long, live right. This message is sponsored by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture and the Nigerian Film Corporation. Nigerian Film Corporation, powering possibility.
Thanks for joining us, and Agatha in Benin has some reports for us. Hello, Agatha.
Hello, Jumai. A warm welcome to Benin. Traditional rulers are raising the bar in sensitizing their subjects to safety measures against COVID-19 and need for them to comply with medical advice and the directive of the federal and state governments. Ifeoma Okafor reports.
The sensitization drive began with the Oba of Benin, His Royal Majesty Ewa II, announcing the suspension of hearing of complaints by various communities, groups, and individuals to the palace in conformity with the federal government's position in fighting the spread of the disease. He also announced the cancellation of an earlier scheduled meeting with chiefs, Enige, Igiohe, Edonwe, market women, and youth organizations. The Onoje of Idua community, His Royal Highness Momo Amedu, and his counterpart, the Onoje of Irua, His Royal Highness William Momodu, are not relenting in sensitizing their subjects in safety measures against COVID-19.
What we have carried out is to use the town crier to go around and announce the government directive.
Always wash your hand before you take your food. And don't shake people.
They are appealing to the government to make the preventive materials available for the people. In Benin, Ifeoma Okafor, NTA News.
In the meantime, Juma did not hold this Friday as the Benin Central Mosque was under lock and key. Now, this is sequel to a directive by the League of Imams and the Edo State government that all religious activities be suspended to curtail spread of the coronavirus in the country. Adobaji Ojegba reports on this and situation at motor parks.
This is the Benin Central Mosque. At this time, Muslim faithful usually gather for the Friday Jumat service. But today, the case is different.
We are here to comply with government directives that we should stay aside and observe our prayers at our homes. Although the government said it should not be more than 20 persons for the Jumat service. But when you realistically look at that figure, you understand that it's not practicable. You also look at what the law says based on Islamic acts of worship. What does it say? When you are faced with such a precarious situation, like an epidemic.
The directive by the Edo State government to transporters operating within the state seems not to be adhered to.
At ordinary times, you are free to carry your phone. But because of the present situation, presently we should maintain social distance.
At other bus terminals, the situation was not different, as most operators declined our news crew from covering their activities
Baba, I respect them, but may the task force and ticket people, may they still give us a chance.
At the Keke terminal within the state, the leadership of the body has shown commitment by asking their members to respect the social distancing directive of the state government. In Benin, Adubeji Ojegba, NTA News.
That's our package, Jamar. It's back to you.
Thank you so much, Agatha. And we're now talking security. Multinational Joint Task Force countering insurgency operations in the Lake Chad Basin received a major push today as President Idris Deby of the Republic of Chad called at Sector 2 in Bagasola Island along the common border with Nigeria. In a statement by the Multinational Joint Task Force, President Deby offered strategic guidance and support urgently needed to ramp up the tempo of operations against Boko Haram terrorists in the locality. Major General Ibrahim Manu Yusuf thanked President Deby for his guidance and support, assuring that the Multinational Joint Task Force will execute operations professionally and diligently in order to speedily bring succor to the traumatized population of the Lake Chad Basin. And on a sad note, as remains of the principal of Bethlehem High School, Abule Ado, Lagos, Reverend Sister Harrietta Aloha, is laid to rest. President Muhammadu Buhari joined staff, members and students in the mourning, the huge loss to the soul and the country at large. In a statement, the President commended Sis Aloha's contributions to the educational development of the country through piety, diligence and charity, and her choice to lay down her life for the students she loved. The President, while praying for the repose of the soul of the deceased, the President says prosperity will remember her sacrificial spirit. President Buhari also condoles all those who lost their loved ones and property in the pipeline explosion, praying that God will strengthen them in the trying period. The National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons says it will not relent in its quest to integrate the state and local government structures of the country as a framework to the management of migration through dialogue process for local participation. Simon Asher reports that this formed the focal point of sensitization program in Yola, Adamawa State for participants in the northeast geopolitical region of the country. That report will be coming in our subsequent bulletin. Let's take another break. When we return, Network News continues.
Maybe say now today or 4 days when my girls won't come visit and I need to come go expire.
Oh, my guys, they can't follow me watch this match. I must not fall the hand.
Babe, what's happening now? Sorry to disappoint you, but my subscription don't expire.
The match is not on my GoTV package.
Now your holla be that. I beg, give me your phone. I can show you how you go take do it for my GoTV app for your phone.
Life is so much easier with my GoTV app. Make payments, clear error messages, change your package. You can also check your due dates and keep abreast of your payment history.
And with the corner, Matip is there.
The new My GoTV app is everything you need in one place. So what are you waiting for? Download My GoTV app now from Google Play or App Store to enjoy the easy life. GoTV. Live it, love it.
As you know, kids' exam time is exam time for moms too. The child prepares intensely, so does the mom, taking care of every little thing. But germs can ruin it all. What if he falls ill on his exam day?
Every single day is important for kids. That's why they need Dettol soap. It protects from up to 100 illness-causing germs.
Everyday protection, everyday Dettol.
65 grams, now 150 naira.
Coronavirus is real. Steps to avoid this pandemic. Wash your hands regularly or sanitize your hands. Keep social and physical distancing. Avoid crowded places. Stay at home unless absolutely necessary. Don't touch your eyes, nose, or mouth if your hands are not clean. Avoid the spread of coronavirus. Coronavirus is real.
It's good to know you're still there. Wife of Kebbi State Governor Hajia Aisha Atiku Bagudu has urged headsmen in the state to see the reality of coronavirus and arm themselves with the precautionary measures spelled out for daily practice in the course of their movement. Hajia Bagudu, who was sensitizing Fulani and Almajiri in rural areas of the state, said the pandemic is a global phenomenon. Nuru Tanku Wakili has the details.
Containing the scourge of the coronavirus pandemic requires extensive awareness creation on the dangers of the phenomenon and preventive measures to be adopted, especially in rural communities. This is because of the level of education, access to information, and even social barriers in rural communities, which could hinder their understanding of the scourge, except with proper sensitization. The wife of the governor therefore embarked on the sensitization campaign into villages and Fulani settlements, as well as Almajiri schools, with a view to improving their sanitation and personal hygiene ethics, as well as social distancing and early report of suspected cases to health facilities. Hajia Aishatu Atiku Bagudu called on community and religious leaders to take and sustain the campaign to the nook and crannies of their areas of jurisdiction. The wife of the governor also donated sanitizers and other sanitary materials to the communities visited and advised them to always rely on authentic information from appropriate authorities and health experts. In Birnin Kebbi, Nura Tanko Wakili, NTA News.
And President Muhammadu Buhari has approved 4 stadia as well as NYSC camps as isolation centers for coronavirus patients. Minister of Youth and Sports Development Sunday Dare, who disclosed this today in Abuja, said the stadia include National Stadium in Surulere, Lagos, Kaduna, Ibadan, and Moshood Abiola National Stadium, Abuja. For more on sports update, let's join Kene Ima Abudike.
As about Delta State, Austin Edomodo reports that some stakeholders are counting their losses as the coronavirus pandemic continues to hit global sports.
Formerly, I used to carry 80 copies of sports. Only sports life and sports sun. All would be at about 100 and something. But now, no way. I'm not selling again.
Sports enthusiasts across the country have continued in their quest for relevant authorities to provide adequate medical checks and facilities at the stadia in order to mitigate avoidable tragedies on both athletes and officials.
We athletes, we don't have doctors taking care of us. Even those that can afford it are the most senior athletes that have the funds to seek for a medical doctor that will take care of them or their health.
Some of them might still get advance notice that they're coming for inspection. They go and borrow that ambulance and keep there.
In football, South Korea's Football Association has called on the International Olympic Committee to raise the age limit for Tokyo Games in 2021 to ensure that those players who helped their teams qualify are still eligible to compete. For 2020, players born on or after January 1, 1997 are eligible, while squads can also include 3 players over the age of 23. With sports update, Kenan Ima Abodike, NTA News.
That's it on the news tonight. Remember to stay safe and follow all the measures put in place by the government. Thanks for watching and good night.